Matt Ryan here, and folks, the countdown is on. If you want to be my boss, if you want to own a piece of the A7FL, the time is now. We are counting down until November 7th. That is right, November 7th, the day before Election Day, is the last day of our Start Engine campaign. So we want you to sign up right now. Go to startengine.com/A7FL and sign up. Once again, that's startengine.com/A7FL.
Welcome to the self-proclaimed second best podcast of the A7FL. This is the A7FL Other Side of the Ball. My name is Casey Cox, the host of this podcast. Alongside me for this journey is my co-host, the division owner of Nevada, and also now minor league football Hall of Fame inductee. It is Double D Derek Duncan. Welcome to the podcast.
What's up? I like you adding that Hall of Fame inductee thing into my intro. Let's wait till I'm actually in there before we start getting too crazy with it. But thank you very much. I am super excited, Casey. We've had a really, really good week of A7 action, lots of activity. And on our show with us tonight, we have the future of A7FL Vegas in a few new coaches and one returning coach who is here to talk about where his team's headed. So first up, we'll talk about Oldie Goldie, a guy who's already been around and is a arena football legend around this town and around the country. Coach Anthony Bartley, say what's up.
Good job, Coach.
Hey, good evening, gentlemen. Good evening.
Welcome to the show.
Nice to have you on the podcast. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you. Glad to be here.
Also, not to be outdone, probably as big of a name in the football community in Vegas, the gentleman who was running a lot of things for the Govs 8-man team here in Las Vegas, Coach AJ, Coach Q. He just told me how to pronounce his last name, and now I'm screwing it up already.
That's okay.
Coach Q, give us to it the right way, Coach Q.
It's Adriano Kitigua.
Kitigua.
Key to the islands.
All right. Also on the show, we have the newly appointed head coach. Well, I guess we'll call him the player director of personnel and director of all things gold, Jeremiah Reeves of the Vegas Gold.
Welcome aboard, Jeremiah. Coach.
Welcome aboard, Jeremiah. Glad to have you on.
We're going to have some fun.
Yeah, it's going to be a good season.
And then last and definitely not least, returning player from formerly of the Insomniacs and now GMing, head coaching his own team Over the Top, Gerard Hurd, a.k.a. G.
Thank you. Thanks for having me on.
Welcome
All right.
to the podcast.
All right, fellas. So we're going to jump right into it. Before we get into talking about Vegas, I want to run down a conversation that was had on the 3-on-1 podcast. For those of you who are new to what we do here and haven't been listening to our show, we exist because the guys back east who were running a podcast weren't talking about the West enough. As I've said many times, no fault of their own. We weren't getting covered very much. So they knew very little about us. But now that we are, they're talking about us quite a bit. And unfortunately for the existing teams, they're not talking very strong about us. So they did what they would like to call a preseason top 10 poll. They're calling it an AP top 10 poll because our lead commentator is an AP award-winning journalist, and Matt Ryan, he won an award in 2011. So they called it their AP top 10. And on that AP top 10, our Nevada division champions, the Force, have been locked in at the 6th spot.
Boo.
I find that extremely interesting based on the way the playoffs went and the results in the playoffs. But
I absolutely agree.
But that was their opinion. Not pictured on the list is any other team in the West at all. They talked about the Aces narrowly losing to the Force and not making the list. They added the Covington Heist on it, who I don't believe even made the playoffs.
Right.
But
where?
But to their point, this was supposed to be the list for this coming season, not the list of where it ended up last season. So they had Curtis Jones on the podcast 2 weeks ago. He put the Force at number 4. I personally think the Force belong at number 4. I would say the Pit Bosses probably belong at 8 or 9 right now based on what I know of the squad and who I believe is coming back healthy. But again, to their point, they don't know what we're up to, what we're doing in the lab. So before we get into talking about the goings on in Vegas, I wanted to ask Coach Bartley, since you are the one coach who has some stroke from last year that might be able to speak on this intelligently. What is your thoughts about the Force, our division champion from the West, getting relegated to the 6th spot out of 10 teams, and the Pit Bosses and the Aces or any other team from the West not making the top 10?
Well, I'm just going to be upfront. I've been on the East Coast. I've seen what football is about on the East Coast. I'm not impressed at all. These rankings are garbage, if you ask my opinion. Honestly, the Force, I would give them, at best 4th, maybe even 5th. But I look at some of these other teams, and I know head to head, even if they met up with my squad, I'd probably beat the brakes off of them, even with a limited number of players.
And thank you for that. So let's be real about this. The reason why these polls rarely get disputed in any strength is because these teams rarely get the opportunity to play one another when you have divisions set up the way we are. So if you go to college football, when you do your power rankings 1 through 25, the Mountain West might end up with 2 teams on there, but they won't play any of the other Power 5 conference teams that are in the top 25 to show that they are a better team very frequently, and vice versa.
True.
So,
True.
and it's even deeper in our league, especially in this incoming season. They're going to set things up where travel doesn't happen very much at all to keep our internal league costs down, so that once we're done and we determine our champion from Nevada, then we will travel to, or they will travel to, depending on our records and depending on our power ranking. So we won't get an opportunity but for 1 or 2 teams to even prove somebody wrong, except for when we do the crossover games, should those happen properly. So
right.
I also want to get the take of Mr. G Sosa, or G Hurd, since you spent some time in this league last season, and as a former Insomniac who is coming off an 0-6 season, what do you expect to see out of a team like the Force that you saw play and you played against? And how do you feel about them being the only team to even crack the top 10?
Personally, I don't like the list either, because like their second round in that East Coast playoff, they played the number 1 team. And as we see that first playoff game, they did their thing. Obviously, I feel going against anybody in the East, the Force would be very dominant, actually. Now, the ranking, I agree with Coach Bartley. I'll probably give him 5, possibly 4. But also, we have to remember that was our first year as a league, as a division in the league.
Absolutely. But that was our first year. They're talking about next year. So that is actually my point in the whole thing. We had teams that never played against that level of talent, never played this style of ball before. Now we have. We were in the Elite 8 last year. Do you really think we're only going to go back to the Elite 8 next year with the exact, with a better squad, with better knowledge and a better understanding of how to win at football in this arena? I have a really hard time believing that. And as I said on a podcast previous to this,
Absolutely.
a Vegas team will be in the Final Four this season. I don't know if it's going to be the Force, but a representative of Las Vegas will be in the Final Four this year. And once I see how these rosters are constructed, and get through week 2 or 3, I think I have a good idea who that's going to be. But
right,
it's Vegas time.
Right, and I agree.
Absolutely. And I was going to say, I listened to that 3-1 podcast, and I heard them throw that list together, and then I heard them throw the force in number 6, and I was like, whoa, wait a minute. With the way things happened last season, with it being their first year, you're only going to give them 6. I gave them 4, maybe 5, but I gave them 4. When I heard them do it, I said, here's how I'd lay it out. I see Patterson, BIC as 1 and 2, flip those 2, whatever. And then, 3 was kind of a long shot. I couldn't really remember much of who else was
Gators,
up there in the
wherever,
top.
Nightcrawlers. So they
yeah,
had
Gators. Yeah. But I was like, honestly, if I put the force up against any of those Florida teams, the force would have beat them hands down. So why are they not above, just looking at talent level, why are they not above the 6th spot? They at least deserved 5. I think they deserved 4. And I think absolutely that the pit bosses deserved 7 or 8.
Look, I don't know if the pit bosses deserved anything other than a conversation about what next season's going to be. I know the guys on that team. I know the talent level on that team. And I personally would put them at about an 8 or a 9 based on the teams that made the list. But absolutely above the fucking Snow Tribe at number 10. Like,
right, absolutely.
Right, exactly.
That was my point. Let
me put this out there. Let me put
the
this out
Snow
there.
Tribe was the No Tribe.
Right.
Right. Let me put this out there. And this
Corey
was a fun
Hammond.
fact. Let me put this out there, and this was a fun fact because I brought this to KC's attention when we spoke earlier. If everybody go back a little bit of time in history, the Pit Bosses was the only team that have shut the force down a complete half. Not even BIC did that.
Well, they did in the playoff game. The force didn't score in the first half.
So, well, even still, considering
it's a big deal. You're absolutely right.
That's a huge deal, and I did it with 9 players.
Yeah.
Right.
They only put up 25 points against me. The Snow Tribe got mollywopped, ran off the field. They shouldn't have even been on that field.
Yeah, I'm not exactly sure how they got the invite, to be honest. And that's something that we will be looking at the playoff structure over the course of the next 6 months as we lead up into the spring season. But the point I wanted to make is you got a Snow Tribe team that got a 0 that got donuts hung on them 3 different times, and now because they've got a couple 2 or 3 new guys that are being added to that team, suddenly they're elevated to the number 10 team in the country. Now I would say no shade on Corey Hammond, but I need to throw some shade here real quick.
Well, then you need to do that to me too, because I got
absolutely
players too.
Yeah, so my boy Corey Hammond, who I care for dearly, is the equivalent of Ryan Fitzpatrick in the NFL. The force.
Thank you. Yes.
The force.
Yes.
The Vegas and the force in their very first season has as many playoff wins as Corey has in his entire career, and he wants to talk about elevating that team to a number 10 spot and being a playoff team. I'm not saying they're not. I'm just saying that they don't have as good a chance of making the playoffs as the Pit Bosses. Based on the roster I'm aware of.
And just having Corey Hammond alone doesn't elevate that roster to a 10 spot.
Oh no, they got Eddie Petio too. It's not like they just got Corey Hammond. They got 3 legacy guys.
He told me when we had a personal conversation that if I was gonna throw something at him, throw it right. But so there is a reason why. He does have a gray hair for every team in the league that's cut him in the A7FL. So, there's that too.
Yeah. So my challenge with all of this, to be frank, is so we had a conversation on our very first podcast about what it would have meant if in the first season, each one of the Vegas teams had a legacy A7FL player on their team, like a Corey Hammond, how much better they would have done this season. And I said, all of them likely would have been let's say 20, 30% better, just because they would have had a better understanding of play calling, of movements, of the things that each team's trying to do against you. These guys know film. They know each other. They've been playing against each other for 8-9 years now. They know exactly how everybody moves. And, you know, Torrey brings some talent to the table. I mean, he's cement feet in the pocket, Drew Bledsoe style, but he's got talent.
Right.
He can throw a rock. He's got a weird throwing motion, but he delivers the ball. And I get on him quite a bit. But the point was, you take some experience like that from the legacy leagues and you put it on one of these squads, whether they're actually on the field playing or not, they're giving you like IQ knowledge about the game. And I think that would elevate the game in Vegas more so than the talent level out in the East. I'm not saying that they don't have a ton of talent, because obviously they do, but across the board, they all got experience and cohesiveness. And that's more of the reason why I think they win. That's my perspective though.
I agree from seeing what I saw. They have more experience. They have more continuity as teams because they've had more time in the league. And so they do gel better and they do bring a different level of play. Vegas didn't understand that level of play because, like we've said, it was our first year in the league. Give us next year, we're going to be that much better. There's going to be a team in the Final Four, no doubt, from Vegas. That's just the way it's going to be. Watch out, here we come.
So that's a check that you and I are going to go cash together.
Yes, absolutely.
I feel like we're in the Pac-12 and they're the SEC. You know, SEC can go to a national championship and not even win the conference.
Right. And that's right. Exactly what we're talking about. I mean, they had set it up where two teams from the same division could meet in a national championship. Now, I think it's the game we all wanted to see. Don't get it twisted. But
right,
as the league gets developed, that's not the way to do it, man. You got to have your seating set up. And, you know, if you want to take it out of divisions and go 1 through 10 or 1 through 12 and publish those seeds so everybody knows what they're doing. But a four-seeded Vegas team should not, after winning, have to turn around and play the 1 seed. That makes no sense, right? No. The 5 seed should play the 1 seed. The 4 seed should potentially play the 7 seed, right? That's the way it's supposed to work.
And what were they, like a 3-win team? Like, what are they doing in the playoffs anyway?
Exactly. And then you had a team like the Hit Squad that I think had 1 or 2 wins that were also in the playoffs. Just,
what are they doing? What are they doing in the playoffs that don't make sense?
Yeah, none of it made any sense to me either. So, all right. Well, unless anybody else had anything Donnie, can you please mute yourself, bro? You were like the most awful podcast guest in the history of the world.
I'm not even saying nothing. I'm just keeping
exactly.
quiet.
You just breathing real fucking heavy on the air for no reason.
That's not even me.
Okay, I'm gonna mute you myself then, so we can make sure.
Oh my god.
There you go. Muted. All right. So, unless anybody else has anything on the topic, Casey, I'm going to turn it back over to you so we can move on to the reason why we're here today.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And I'd like to start with G first off. Just he's going to be he is the owner and he's bringing in the over the top. I kind of want to get a feel for him. What he's bringing to the A7FL Nevada strategy-wise, style-wise of play, and what he's been doing to recruit players and how that's going for him so far.
All right, so before G starts answering, I just want to make sure that we're all clear. There's no actual team owners that phrase keeps being thrown around. It's team managers, head coaches, GMs. There he is.
Yeah, as we were discussing, KC, you know, what I'm bringing to the league this upcoming fall is I'm trying to air it out, man. I'm talking old school Patriots, Tom Brady.
So you're talking a little air raid offense?
Oh, of course. Pretty much everybody's going to need some fast DBs that know how to catch, because if not, we're going over the top.
And that's the reason for the name Over the Top, G?
I was going to say, is that the reason for the name?
That is one of the reasons. And then another reason being is because I'm coming for that number 1 spot. Our team trying to go over the top and keep going. We gotta go over the top of the number 1 team here in Vegas, and then gotta succeed over that. Hopefully in the spring, go over the top, make it all the way to the East.
And see here, I thought you were a fan of Sylvester Stallone arm wrestling movies.
Yeah.
No, I'm trying to go up and up. And personally, my secret weapon is gonna be my secret weapon is my wide receiver, Mr. Savion Cunningham.
That's no secret, bro. We put that shit all over Facebook.
Right.
He is my rookie of the year candidate going into the fall and spring. That dude was special in our exhibition.
He's an offensive MVP as well.
Yeah,
Is that correct? Or he was in the scrimmages, by my understanding.
And
yes,
in those scrimmages, yes, sir.
That's exciting, G.
That's going to be.
Oh, my bad.
Go ahead.
He also surprised when he said he also wants to get a little bit of time at running back.
That's equally scary.
Yes,
yeah,
it
that's
is.
going to be a dangerous move.
That's a shifty cat. I don't picture him running anybody over, but he certainly can run around anybody from the speed I've seen.
Most definitely.
So, what about your DG? What's that look like?
Yeah, what's the defense going to be like?
Defensively, I actually have my bad. My defense wise, I'm be honest, I've been recruiting based off offense because I don't even have a actual coach that I'm gonna appoint like defense, but just everybody's wrong because I give me some nice guys that know how to tackle for one. Because to me, I feel like that's a big issue when it comes to playing in A7FL. If you can't tackle, you're not stopping anything.
Yeah, if you're reaching for dudes, you're done. Like,
Yep.
Yeah,
That's an absolute.
So G, tell me about your time on the Insomniacs. We haven't had a chance to talk about that on air.
Right.
I know.
Yep.
How many games
Next.
did you get the opportunity to actually play in? How did you feel about the team construction, your position on the team? I mean, obviously you ultimately ended up going and starting your own, so you thought there was a better way to do it, but there were some positive things I saw with this team and the way it was constructed.
Yes, and with that, I got to give a shout out to Coach Donnie. You know, when it comes to recruiting, he definitely knows what he's doing. He knows how to put a perfect team together. And it was nicely structured, but what it was is we had a lot of, I would like to say, big-headed players. You know, everybody wanted to be that playmaker. And that necessarily led us to not making any plays, to be truthful.
So basically all Chiefs, no Indians?
Pretty much.
Okay.
And that's what led me to, want to branch out and try, the GM route. And also, I am still a player. Just have to get that out there. I am still a part of the secret package and secret weapon that is going to be applied with this team, with this new team.
Well, I want to go on record as saying I'm not a player. I just crush a lot.
And with you being kind of the player general manager type role there and that aspect, what does that aspect look like for you, G, if you don't mind?
Honestly, I don't want to say it's easy because it is kind of rough because you don't get the respect that the GM would get. Everybody wants to still talk to you like you're just a player, just a homie, just a part of the team. When in reality, it's like, no, I still make the big moves for this organization, for the team. And that's the only problem I run into because it gets you to button heads with players. They get to, once again, that's where you find out who it is that wants to play chief instead of being a player. Everybody wants to play the role of captain and run this and run that. But mostly, I'm gonna be honest, I like it because I also, after, being in the front office, handling what needs to be handled on the outside of the field, I get to go on the field and still show them that I got to also do what is needed to be done on the field for what was done off the field to all work together.
Yeah, that's nice. That's an element that's missing for me now that I'm not playing anymore. Like the way this thing is constructed, how much fun it looks like the guys are having down on the field. When seeing that from the booth and not being on the field and standing, on the sidelines, it's a completely different feel. So when I got the opportunity to run the sidelines for the championship game in LA, and I got to run the sidelines for when the Force played BIC, even though they had me holding the damn field marker, it felt like I was involved, and experiencing what was built. Unfortunately, every time I got to experience what was built, it was what somebody else built, not my own shit. So one of these times, Casey, I'm going to have to leave you up in the booth so I can go stand on the sidelines and feel what the players feel like down on the field during A7 Nevada football.
Well, maybe during one of these games, we put you down on the field doing some sideline reporting.
Oh yeah, I'll get the booger mobile down there and be rolling back and forth.
Yep, absolutely. And G, we had kind of talked a little bit, and I want to dive a little more into kind of your football background. You said you had played basically every position, and that's kind of what you bring to the A7FL, is that you've played, or to your team, is that you've played every position on the field. So other than your time with the Insomniacs in the A7, what other football experience do you have in the way of playing and in the way of coaching?
Okay. Well, I am from Vegas, so I went to Mojave High School, and at Mojave, all the way to from freshman JV to varsity, I played running back and defensive end, and also I played kicker. So that takes me to different aspects of meeting different coaches, and that gives me different knowledge bases of, from offense to defense to even special teams, and know how to put a playbook together with anybody that different type of players that have different skill levels, and also recently, which is, Coach Mike's not on the podcast, but it would have been a shout out to Vegas Gold, but I've been playing semi-pro for about 2 years, going on my fifth season with the Las Vegas Saints. And I've got to play fullback for them, play a little bit of outside linebacker, and a little bit of DN. And a couple of games kicker also, actually.
Shout out to the soccer players.
Yeah, most definitely.
Yeah,
yeah.
absolutely.
You make a lot of soccer friends playing kicker.
Yep. Well, you had a really nice segue for me for what Coach Q is dealing with. So Coach Q comes to us because our boy Dante Williams reached out and he says, Derek, I want to put a team in A7FL. I was like, man, I'd love to have you, bro. You know how to organize football. I've seen what you're doing. You're 6 man. Let's get it in. So he joins us up and he's like, all right, I'm here now. But with my situation, I think it's a better deal to have my coach run the team, and I'll go back to being a player, even though I want to be involved in the GM role. So Coach Q comes to us from the Sin City Snake Eyes as a coach taking over for a player coach and now putting the team together for himself. So Coach Q, can you elaborate a little bit on how that whole thing came together for you and what you're currently feeling about the whole deal?
Oh, you're muted, Coach.
Yeah, I had a lot of players playing for that I brought from the Saints over to the Govs, and they kept pushing me. Spoke to Derek. Remember Derek? Text back and forth. A couple coaches hit me up, and I said pass, because I was focused on one team. But then when I seen the reality, I said, and then you text me, and that, especially after the championship all-star game that weekend. A lot of the coaches, the players are coming up. Come on, coach. So finally, I said, yes. That's when I text you and I said, yeah, I'll take that team. What do I have to do? What do I need to do? And, being one of these new coaches, along with like Coach Jeremiah, Coach G, we're all family. I've known all these guys. I coached these guys, and it inspired me to get out there and, start to see who comes, and whatever they don't come, if they want to dedicate themselves to it. Because I tell all my players, hey, never no hard feelings with me. I'm too old for that jive. Play, because I know you young kids love to play football. Stay there, and when season comes, when you want to come, my doors are always open, So, and that inspired me to take on the lead, and Tay saying, "Come on, coach, you're the best coach out here. You can do this, do that. All these players. It's going to be fun. It might be our first year, but you know how to compose and recruit." I'm like, "Yeah, okay, I'll take it." Along with a bunch of the other players, and they may not be venturing with me due to the fact that some owners of other teams just like to do their own thing and uh, intimidate or try to coax players to be cut off a team that they play for other teams. So I've told my players, stay, be happy. When time comes, we're always going to be brotherhood love, so we're going to always break bread together. But like Coach G, Coach G and I kick it. I coach Coach G, right, Coach G?
Yeah. So what I always tell my people anytime someone says like, "Look, I want to take a better situation," I look them straight in the eye. I said, "You should always do what's best for your family. And if leaving me and my atmosphere it is what you think it's what's best for your family, I wish you the best. So go with God and good luck to you."
Yeah, same with me.
But Coach Q, you there's something that you left out of that whole thing.
What is that?
You and I had a private conversation. I'm not sure how deep down the rabbit hole I want to go with this to put you on blast, but
go ahead.
You shared with me last week that you have a new special supporter now that you have taken on the A7 coaching role that you didn't have the support of before as
yes.
much.
Yes.
Can you elaborate on that a little bit?
Yeah, I have your support, man. Coach Kelly, Coach D, Coach Bartley. God, we have breakfast together, kick it. We're a lot older. There's a difference in, younger coaches and players versus what we visualize in our years. And like me, I don't talk a lot about this and that. I'm coming in as a new team. I'm not looking to go, to the top, over the top like Coach G. But guess what? We're going to be competitive, and we're going to do our best, but never count us out. It's our first year, just like the last three teams that existed last year. I give them the props, you know what I mean, for being in the positions they were given. I don't know the whole scenario of, about every playoff that all the other teams that they were competing with. But, I think the eyes of everybody has their opinion, the eyes of the people that make the decision and put it on paper, black and white. Those are the ones, I respect. I have my opinion. You have yours. Casey has his. Coach Bartley has his. We all have our opinions, So I leave it at that, and let's see what happens after this year. And yes, be blessed that one of our teams go into the playoffs and into the championship and win that prize, So it's all, to me, it's all about brotherly love. I never hate a coach, argue with the coach. I've never argued with players, So and Coach G will tell you that. Coach Jeremiah will tell you that, So I'm that kind of coach that I'm kicked back, but I'm going to get it into your head. This is what's going to happen, This is what we're going to put on the board, So in black and white, that's going to be, something that we're going to focus on and climb the ladder and get to the top. We're not going to go over the top. We're going to get to the top.
Well, I love that Dante thought enough of you to say, you know what, Coach, you go ahead and win the $5,000 as the head coach who won the championship. I'll take a back seat and you can keep that money. Because I don't know if that's what he knew he was saying, but that's what he said.
Yeah. So,
right.
Yeah, because, right. But don't count me out, don't count me out. Yeah. It's going to be my first year. I've got some good, decent talent coming. Every coach is a student to football, right? We learn everything every day. We don't know it all. I respect Coach Bartley, you know what I mean? Coach D, and Coach Troy and them. But in my opinion, I've seen better caliber football than the Force. there's better structure, better caliber football to say. The talent's there, but I've seen that the East Coast has a better well composed, and that's because they've had the experience behind them. And I kudos to Coach Bartley, Coach D, and Coach Troy in the Force. And it takes time. It's their first year. Those other guys been together, like you said earlier, 7, 8, 9 years. So what do you expect?
Right. So one final question before we jump to Jeremiah, because I know he's got practice tonight, and I want to make sure that we get him there on time. Talk to us about your playing style. I know G said that they're going to air it out, go over the top. That's why they're called over the top. They're trying to have a quick hit offense. What do you expect your playing style to be, or do you know what that is yet?
Depending on the material I have is how I got to compose, my units, my defense, offense, special teams. So, it all depends. I have some good talent. I have a good quarterback, brought him a 5-star, quarterback. He's got every, all the talents and the skills that it takes to play 7. The fast, the speed, the distance, the vision, the peripheral vision. He's played college ball, and and it's the local players now, other than the players that I've recruited that have played collegiate ball, that have reached out to me. I have to, a lot of these local players really have to be molded in a lot of things. You see that there's only 1 or 2, 3 eggs out of a basket, or a couple dozen eggs that, has the best talent. Take Coach D's quarterback, Rashad, and a few other players. So, I think that I'm going to bring out I like speed. I like, I love speed. So I'm going to bring out a fast team. I'm not too worried about the size, unless it's defense, so they can bring these bigger guys down. But if I have speed, which I'm going to have, that's going to be my point of attack.
So you're looking at a Florida, LA type, throw it around the yard, super fast guys with a lot of structure.
Yeah, a lot of structure, very, very good patterns, very good learning how to, identify what's in front of you. So, and I have a quarterback that is, it's got the 60, 70, 75-yard distance, accurate distance, and to tell Coach G, over the top,
And
yeah. So, yeah. But
Casey, you had something?
I was going to ask him real quick before we move to Jeremiah as well. You've had some time with the, the 8 versus 8 style padded football. Do you think that's going to help you any, even though this is your first year, is that going to help you some? Do you think coming into the A7FL to kind of have a better understanding of how the formations will work and how the play styles will work and how that's all going to flow?
Yeah. It's a lot faster, can have a good, your offensive players have to, the backfield has to have good peripheral vision, and good hands, you know what I mean? So, yeah, that's what we're gonna have. I think we, we'll do okay for our first year coming up. And my competition, the big competition is probably going to be Coach G and Coach Jeremiah, but don't count us out.
Right on, Coach. Well,
all right.
Yeah, I wish you the very best, brother. In case you want to step over to Jeremiah, you got questions loaded up for him, or?
Yeah. Jeremiah, me and you got to talk a little bit as well before the podcast. I just wanted to kind of dig into what kind of coaching style are you going to bring to the A7FL? And what have you been doing being a new team? What have you been doing in the way of recruiting, or who's been handling the recruiting on that side for you guys?
Well, Mike Howard is doing all the recruitment. I was just appointed as head of the team to like team meetings and events and all that. But I guess as being a quarterback of the team, probably try to bring some Crimson Tide football out, ground and pound and play action, go over the top.
And what kind of football background do you have, Jeremiah, in the way of football other than some A7FL stuff that you did with, you said you played with the Vibe last season, and I remember you played with the Vibe when the Vibe came and played the Force. So other than that, what other kind of football experience do you have?
I really come from a basketball background. I played high school football. I played quarterback, receiver, cornerback, safety, kick return, punt return. But other than that, it's been mostly basketball. I played in Spain a few years, played college ball. I started playing some of my pro ball when I moved to Seattle, Washington. I played out there a couple of years, then ended up moving to Vegas and playing with Coach Mike Howard and the Las Vegas Saints.
So playing with Howard and the Saints, is that kind of how you stumbled upon the A7FL and got involved with the A7FL, or what got you interested?
G Loney, G Sosa told me about A7. He invited me out to come check out a game. That's how that got started.
So I'm gonna jump in and tell the real story of how Jeremiah got involved, from my perspective, anyway. So the Vibe tried to pull a fast one on us when they came up from Santa Monica to play in the playoffs. They were short players, so they reached out to some cats in the area, and lo and behold, Jeremiah Reeves ends up their quarterback on that day after they were ineffective moving the ball with the COVID in the backfield. So, Casey, I don't know if you remember, they were not moving the ball at all. They were getting absolutely blown out, and then Jeremiah comes in at quarterback. I don't know about the third pass. They were in the end zone. So,
right, yeah. I absolutely remember. I said that to Jeremiah too. I was like, I remember. He sent me a little clip. I was like, I absolutely remember you. You were the second quarterback. That's right. You were the one that actually started to do stuff against.
Yeah, they put me in the fourth quarter at the last minute, but I tried to make something happen with it, and
it worked.
Good job, Coach.
It worked so good, you ended up running your own A7 team 3 months later.
Right.
Good job, Coach.
Mike Howard called me out of the blue and said, "Hey, you want to be in charge of Vegas Gold?" I was like, "What you mean in charge?" He's like, "You gonna be the owner?" I was like, "Whoa, wait a minute. I don't know nothing about being no owner, but I gave my best shot though."
Well, and you guys got practice tonight, right? 6:30.
It's really A7 and 8-man combined. So it's really all the same team. Both teams playing the same thing.
All right, look, that makes it easy, man. You guys can stay together and consistent all throughout the year. I don't see anything wrong with that at all. I'm actually
I was going to say
lots of people.
Yeah, I was going to say, if nothing else, that'll bring some continuity to the Gold and make the Gold that much more competitive, because a lot of these players, if I'm understanding right, are already playing together on another team.
Yeah, some of us play with the Saints, or Saints, Rebels, whatever you want to call it. Some of us play together right now with those guys.
Well, that's a really nice segue into rolling over to Coach Bartley, because I know Coach is in the lab, as we like to say. He, on paper, had, when at game one, probably the best roster. D1 all-star, that a guy that holds like every rushing and passing record in Las Vegas stepped up to be his quarterback. In the slot, he had former NFL guy and a guy who broke Shady McCoy's rushing records, single game rushing records back in Philly. And those were his two stars. One got hurt the second play of the game, and the other one had to step up and play quarterback and didn't end up being able to be a receiver. So, Coach, all that being said, is Derek Moore coming back and going to run quarterback for you? What's the plans for the season?
Well, it's quite simple. Have not heard back from Derek. And I'm one of those guys, I'm not going to chase after anybody. You know, guys, they're serious about playing, they'll step up to the forefront, they'll come get this work in, and we'll get it done. My best recruiting tools have been my players. I let them go out there. You guys got the experience. Y'all know what's come. We bring them out here to the field.
Want to bring the A7FL to your town? Well, you're in luck. Between now and October 1st, we are still taking applications to buy a division in the American Sevens Football League. Join Columbus for our 2023 season now. For more information on it, go to a7fl.com/owners. That's a7fl.com/owners. Get your piece of the future of football and bring us to your town. Hey there, it's Matt Ryan. Are you enjoying this A7FL podcast? Well, I'm glad you are, because that means you can give us money. That's right, you can buy our merch right now at tinyurl.com/A7FL merch. That's tinyurl.com/A7FL merch. Up there right now, we have some Thick Boy season merchandise. We've got some Huss Huss shirts. And also, we've got some Corey Hammond-related merchandise coming soon. A Corey Hammond's t-shirt, hoodie, and a whole lot more. You can get all of them right now sent to you nice, comfy, and cozy at tinyurl.com/A7FL merch. And also, you can find it in the show notes. Now back to that podcast you like.
As y'all see last season, I pretty much just ran with what was given to me. And I honestly feel that I put out the best product on the field. Win, lose, or draw.
You were absolutely competitive in every game.
Absolutely.
What I don't understand is how so many of those turned into losses in the last waning minutes of the game. So,
I can tell you exactly how, and because it's going on, it's even going on today in the NFL. Bad officiating. But that's besides the point. The one thing, regardless of the situation, as I tell my players, we cannot allow the officials to dictate the outcome of our game.
Yeah. Once you put it in the official's hand, you've already done something wrong. So.
Right. So that's somebody's background real loud.
Got it.
So with that being said, the dog pound. I got some new dogs coming to run with the pack. We're already grinding it out, and we're basically coming out to send a message to everybody.
All right. So, any specific high-level names that you want to share with us, or that we should know about?
No, I was just getting ready. Same thing. Anybody coming from the East Coast to join you guys, or anybody coming from any of the other teams?
Like I said, no? I'm not putting anything out there like that. Let's just say, I got guys who they're hearing about the pit bosses. They want to be a part of it. I got guys who are hungry. They don't want to go, and then I've had one guy literally tell me, I don't want to go and play with the so-called best team. I want to go to the next best team to beat the best team.
Look, I grew up one of those guys as I grew up one of those guys as well, man. Like, look, don't just put me on the best roster you got. You tell me who the best is so I can show you that they're not me. And wax that ass and run them off the field. Then you tell me who the best team is that I put together. Right.
And
I love that mentality.
And also looking at things, what our strength was the fact that our guys, they bonded together. They spent more time encouraging and uplifting one another as opposed to tearing another player down. That's why we stayed competitive. I give you a good example. When we went down to LA for the playoff game, I started on the field with 6 players against their 7 and was still putting up points with those 6 players because my guys are hungry and they weren't going to just lay down and accept defeat.
So I will say above all, the thing that I appreciated about the structure of your team was the overall togetherness and camaraderie of the guys. Like
absolutely.
they were the only team I know that was hanging out before and after games. You know, they go have breakfast together on occasion. They'd invite me out, like, hey, we're all getting together down here at this one spot. We'd like you to come join us so we can talk about the game. I'm like, this is a really cool way to go about it, man. I understand why you guys are raising the level of play, because you guys know each other. You can, get to the point where you can give somebody a look and you kind of know what they're thinking too. So together, this is huge.
Yeah, and we're branding ourselves as a family. We have to act as if we are a close-knit family. And with that being said, that's how we're going to continue to develop this program. Now going into this fall, as I love Donnie, I love Coach Q, G, I think you're a talented guy on the field. I haven't seen a whole lot of Jeremiah on the field, but I have seen you play. But I do got to make sure everybody understands that I'm sending a message to everybody. And with the way I got this camp going right now, and we're getting this work in, I just hope everybody brings their A game, because I'm not taking my foot off the gas pedal. I'm not going to allow the officials to dictate my games. I'm going to take over, and I want to make sure the force catches wind of this, because I owe them big time.
Yeah, you and Matt got a little shit talking feud going back and forth.
Yeah, you did. Yeah, you did. And I had a little bit of a conversation with Coach Bartley, and Coach Bartley, you said, basically you did it at what you did at 40% last season, and this season you're coming 100% because now you've totally healed from your foot injury or ankle injury or whatever that was that you were trying to heal up from. So that they better be prepared.
Yeah, they really do need to be prepared. They need to purchase whatever player they need to get. I could give two shits. Put your best 7 on the field, because I'm gonna put my best 7, and I'm gonna show you what comes out of the dog pound.
So I see you try to slide that little shot in there that I don't know if anybody else picked up on it, Coach. You said you got to go buy whatever player you need. So basically you're calling them out for paying their guys, and you haven't needed to do that and still competitive, right?
Exactly.
There you go. Shots fired.
Right? we had no bombs dropped today, but we at least have one shot fired.
Hey, I'm just going to, y'all know me, I'm going to keep it real.
Yes, sir. All right, Coach. So any public changes in style of play that you are willing to share with us? That's Casey's question, but I want to make sure we keep it flowing here.
Yeah.
Let's just say that my style of play is going to be 100 times more aggressive than what y'all experienced this past season.
So aggressive in what way?
In every facet of the game.
Okay.
Offense, defense, special teams, you name it. I'm coming hard. I'm coming fast.
All right.
Tell those players to put on their big boy draws, because it's going to be a rough one.
All right. Well, with that is a nice segue into Coach Donnie. We just recently had Coach Donnie on the podcast, and I'm going to give him some shit, because every time he gets on this thing, his phone is all jacked up and he's breathing heavy into the phone.
Time.
So,
I'm good.
All right. He's ready. And
my
prepared.
AC was in the phone. That's why I'm sorry, Derek.
All right. So here we go. So, Coach,
this is Coach Donnie with the Insomniacs.
That's right. You know what Coach Bartley is about. I know Coach Bartley because of you.
Yes,
sir. He's talking a mad game right now, and he's like,
well, first,
you better be
I would
on
like
notice.
to talk about what we're doing different with the Insomniacs. I went ahead and I got a team of different people that are now doing my everything in the background when it comes to collecting funds, doing everything, organizing the team, making sure the players got what they want. I no longer carry everything by myself. I have a team manager. I got associates. I got people helping, taking care of everything I don't need to take care of, where I can concentrate on football. And now that was a major thing. That was my downfall last year, where I was too busy trying to do everything else and not pay attention. And yes, I did lose 6 players, and that's okay. It's fine. But this year's Insomniac team, will be a team to reckon. We will bring a type of play where we will come back with the old Steeler type play, but then change it up on you. And now all of a sudden, we're the Mahomes of the Kansas City Chiefs. I am bringing 4 guys from back east, 2 that moved more than 3,000 miles away. One of them named Rashad Davis, and one named Marcus. I got another kid named James Dana, works in one of the biggest coal mines in the Eastern United States, 6'7" defensive end, tight end coming in too.
Good Lord.
I'll probably be the only team with 5 guys above 6'5". The recruiting there this year was great. Today we had 19 players there today. We did real good. We looked real good. All yes sir, no sir, yes ma'am, no ma'am. And the Insomniacs have changed. And you're right. Bartley speaks an amazing game. He's an amazing coach. I love that dude to death. And you know what? I love Coach Q. You guys are my brothers and this and that. But Bartley, that's okay. Because remember, the only one else in this group that beat your ass was me. So don't keep me out of the loop. I'm coming for you too. All right? Remember that. It's not over. Well, I'll see you on the field. I love you to death. We'll be friends. We'll eat. But when I see you on the field, bro, I'll make sure I bring my oxygen machine for you. Because it's not going to look nice when we're done. It's a different football. We're coming, bro. I love you, Bartlett and Coach Q. That's okay, bro. I'm going to teach you something about the A7FL you never learned. How to lose. And it's coming. And it goes for everybody else. G, I love you to death. I respect you for calling me. Thank you. But go ahead and air it out, bro. But first, ask for me this. When you got 3 6'5" guys chasing you, let me know when your quarterback lets the ball go. I'd like to know because I'm coming. Okay? I've done a lot of film this year. I've done it for months in the hospital. A lot of people know I've been in the hospital 2-3 months. I've been watching film. I've been watching the U. I've been watching everybody. I've been watching what tactics they've been doing. I'm a DC. I'm letting Rashad call the offense, and he's a type of old guy, new guy. So it'll be fun, And my thing is this: after the game's over, we'll all go eat tacos. My truck will be out there, and we'll have fun. We have the pitch truck that'll be feeding everybody after the game. We'll all be brothers and friends like we should be. But on the field, it's going to be a different story, and I get it. That's all good. Hey, let's shoot the fire, but let's prove it on the field. I'm not going to talk about it. I'm going to prove it. There's no more talking from me anymore.
So Patrick Mahomes at quarterback and Franco Harris at tailback. Is that what I heard?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Marcus ran a 4.3. Oh, and to be honest with you, 3 of my guys were all on 3 NFL practice squads, if you want to get down to the point. Even Rashad himself. So, my running back ran a 4.3 at this last pro date this last season. So we're hoping that the speed kept up and everything. We got another kid coming out named Jeremiah, coming from mid-Florida. He's supposed to be flying. These are guys that are committing to me so much that they're willing to fly over here and not care about pay or the flight. They're doing this on themselves. And they're seeing what the Insomniacs are trying to build. We are trying to build a family and something they can trust and have fun with. There's not going to be no more boo-hoo crap, all this crap. And you know what? That's fine. Hey, the Force, you guys are amazing. You guys did great. You guys recruited amazing. Hey, man. You guys are great. Troy, good stuff. Matt, good stuff. But I'll see you next season too. Come bring the film. Come videotape. Do what you got to do. Do what you need. Because you know what? It'll be a whole different game when I play you. Believe that. I'm setting up everything different. By the time I'm done, I'll have a 25-man roster.
So that's your target for the fall or for the spring?
For the fall and the spring 30.
Okay. Sorry, Casey. Go ahead.
In the spring 30. And I was going to say, by my understanding, if I understood right in our conversation, you've also been on the recruiting, trying to recruit Antoine Hall as well.
So Antoine Hall is the next Philadelphia Eagle football player, defensive end, corner that will be coming to play with the Insomniacs once he moves to Vegas. Derek, you know him? Tall kid, light skin, played DN for us.
Yeah, I remember.
Stay with us, host. Yes, he will be here soon to play on Coach Donnie's team.
Yeah, I was very happy to retire before he ever hit me.
Yeah, well, guess what? Mike,
right, absolutely.
We have a good chance Mike Porch might be coming too, and if that happens, they're going to have problems. We got Mike Porch. I don't know if you remember this one.
I do.
I got another one for you, Mike Ball. San Francisco 49ers, third string, but still he was on the team. He's coming out. He's a fullback. I
don't remember a Mike Ball. I remember a Monty Ball.
He had dreads on and always had his kids out there and ran fast as hell and had gold cleats. So when it comes to recruiting, guess what? I did a little, but guess what? I'm fine-tuning. Rashad does a little, he fines tune. Other guys do a little, he fine tune. I got another kid named Rashad Cooley out of Vegas. One of the Las Vegas Trojans, #1 best outside linebacker, defensive end, plays tight end and receiver, 6'6.5". That's another player, my player. So we're coming big, we're coming fast, we're coming prepared, coming new look, new jerseys. The reason why we're going with this light gray was not because we're trying to disrespect the league or the Insomniacs. We're coming back with a new look and trying to say, hey, a lot of people didn't give us a chance last year. Now it's time for us to have a chance this year. And we're going to come and do something different. And if they don't like it, guess what? That's fine. They're in the game. I'm going to smash them out. And at the end, I'm going to feed you. So what's the difference? I still get my ass kicked one way or the other. Well, I feed you or you beat me. Other than that, I lose.
And I will say you make some damn good tacos too. So, but
I don't know. You should ask Derek. He always complains he gained weight when he eats.
Yeah, well, and he makes damn good tacos because he learned how to make them from me.
I don't know how to make rounded tacos. Shut your mouth. But like I said, man, the Insomniacs are also in our
in our conversation. Also, Donnie, you kind of joking around and you said that you were the only one that almost gave Coach Bartley a heart attack during your games or after your games. With all the recruiting you've done and all the big names you have coming into the league, is your goal to give Coach Bartley a heart attack on the field this year?
No, because then I'd have to resuscitate. I'm not putting my lips on his face, and he knows that damn well. You know what I'm saying? But I love Bartley to death. That's my boy, man. Like, we've been through thick and skin, and we're gonna run our mouths about each other every time because that's the competitive of us. You know, I don't know the Vegas Gold, but I know what I'm gonna do to the Vegas Gold. I don't know if you're still here, bro.
Yeah,
I'm gonna put the Vegas Gold back in the mountains to sleep. That's what I'm gonna do. You know, and whoever gets in front of me, it's gonna be a different Insomniac team. It's gonna be disciplined. It's gonna be one play at a time. We're gonna run a no huddle offense, so you better keep your defense out on the field.
Oh boy,
these rests better be ready.
Oh boy,
I'm coming.
So Donnie, is that an official announcement? You're going no huddle all the time?
Yes, I'm going
or
no
just
huddle with Rashad, and Rashad says if he has to hold the rock 100 times, he'll do it and break another record. And this time on the West.
That means conditioning.
Big.
That means conditioning.
Yeah, it does.
Rashad wakes up every morning at 3:30 here. It's 5:30 over there where he's from, and he's at the gym till about 7 our time, from 3:40 to 7 on the gym, lifting and pool exercise. That's all he does all day is gym twice a day.
Right, but are the 6'7", 300-pounders also doing the same thing?
Yes,
and their cardio's up?
The best thing about it is Rashad has wrote programs for everybody, and they have to videotape and show each other what they're doing.
Cool. That's
just
beautiful.
Like today, they all worked out. None of them got tired, not even Ramsey. You know, the only thing we got about Ramsey is he's dropping down about 270. Everybody picked him as a punk last year, and, they did rush 2 or 3 on his side, but he's threatening to come back with vengeance this year. He's coming back at 270 and trying to do something and lay people on their ass and tell them, you know what, I may be young, but I ain't young no more. I'm coming after you. And I told him, it's your word against theirs.
All right, so I'm going to hit you first, Donnie. We've got 5 coaches on this podcast tonight.
Yes, sir.
In a head-to-head 7-game fall season.
Yes, sir.
What do you project your record will be against your 6 compatriots here?
7-game season. So somebody I'll have to play twice, right? Basically, 2 people.
Yeah, well, let's say it's going to be, if we have all 8 teams, it'll be a 7-game season.
Yeah, look, I'm gonna be truthful. If it's a 7-game season, I'll go 6-1.
6-1.
Yep, and I'll only lose 1 in case because I do have 4 COs that are on my team, and that's the only thing that's gonna mess us up. But other than that, if we get the whole team there, then we'll be 7-0.
Got it. So you might be short a key player for work stuff.
Yeah, 2. One of them is 6'7". That's Rashad Cooley.
Got it.
But I mean, that's okay if we can figure it out and cover it up. Then we'll cover it up. But I'm gonna say 6-1, just to be careful.
Nice.
So Jeremiah, you still listening in? I want to pose the same question to you. 7-game season against the 8 coaches we've been talking to and talking about. What do you expect your record to be at the end of the fall?
7-game season. I say like maybe 5-2.
5-2. All right.
Oh, that's pretty good.
5-2.
I know the pit bosses got a good squad, so they're gonna be tough.
Hey, I'll bring you a lawn chair and some iced tea. You can come to my practice.
All right, so we got the Insomniacs at 6-1, the Gold at 5-2. Coach Q, what's your prediction for the fall?
Yeah, what's your prediction for the Snake Eyes?
Hang on, he's muted. Let me see if I can unmute him.
Yep. Oh, yep, he's muted again.
Coach Q.
Coach Q, you're muted. If you can hear me,
Coach
press
Q,
the-
you're muted. We're not hearing anything.
There we
Can you
go.
hear me now?
I can hear you
There you
now.
are.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think I'm going to be, since I'm a new team, I don't know what's going on here with players after the draft. I'm going to say I'm going to probably I'm probably going to be down at the bottom. Probably win 1, maybe 2 games if we're lucky. But if it does any better than that, then, good job for the players and the coaching staff, because I see the high caliber teams, and it's my first year. So I'm not going to bite off more than I can chew. And if I'm down at the bottom, then, hey, I'm still going to have fun and still be in the league, and I'm still going to give these guys hell. And by the way, Coach Bartley and Coach D, I'll be the referee when you guys play, okay?
Oh, hell yeah. Finally, we get someone that can call it right.
Yeah.
I'll be on both of you guys' sidelines, right? Say, hey, I don't know if you guys know. Let me give
Hey,
you guys
guys,
heads
I
up.
already told Coach Bartley, how about we don't coach our team? We sit on the sideline in the middle of the end zone, drinking tea in a lawn chair, and let our teams just play each other.
Yeah, Coach Bartley. Hey,
That'd be fun to
Jeremiah,
watch.
Coach G.
I don't like that idea.
Yeah, Coach Bartley is the number 1 man for getting into your brain. So that's
Yes,
my
he
number
is.
1 rule.
Yes, he
My
is.
my,
is.
My number 1 rule is going to be, don't let Coach Bartley get into your brains, all right? Just ignore him and let him point to the scoreboard.
Yeah, well, that's
what
the
we
best
wanna
part
be.
about it. He doesn't know none of my players because they're all not from here. So that's the best part. He just
The
comes
only
out
thing
all the time
about-
like, where's you?
Well, that's the thing. That's the thing about
Damn,
Bartley. That
I am a licensed
Yeah,
private investigator. Do y'all not realize I can find out information on any and everybody? That's my job.
Hey, don't worry. But you having Daniel
Coach
Pecker,
Bartley not wrong.
I know when you got Daniel Pecker, I know who I'm picking on. So get ready. It's my turn now.
all right.
Guys,
You know what?
Coach.
I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna say this. While I took time off of my vacation when I was in Africa to talk to Mr. Packer.
Oh Lord.
And he and I had a heart to heart because I've known him for years. Talented player. His biggest issue was that his attitude overshadowed his ability to play the game.
Yes, sir.
And I told him a lot of that had to do with the fact of the environment that he was surrounded by. And just like any animal and out in the world, if you introduce an animal to a different element, that they're going to adjust and adapt to their surroundings. So I told him, you come over with me, let me introduce you to an environment where there's nothing but positivity, uplift, encouragement, and hard work. And I guarantee you, your game will elevate to a whole nother level.
Hey, Coach, wait a minute. Hold up. He was doing good until you got into his head.
I remember that
He
game.
was moving the ball against you, and then you started saying stuff, and then they took him off his game. And don't forget the picture Neela showed you the other day with your 2 guys standing over him.
I told you,
That's
he's the
why
master.
That's why we say Bartley is the master of getting in people's heads.
Yes, sir.
He'll admit it. He's the loudmouth coach, and he likes to get in people's head, and he likes to talk his shit. And that's cool. We need some of that in the league. So
That's when Bartley says, "I taught you everything you know. I did not teach you everything I know."
Right.
Yep. Yeah.
We need the referees to,
But at the end of the day, like I said, my biggest thing is, and it's not just Packer, it's, anybody that comes into this camp, whether they're trying to go to the next level or they just want to experience the feeling of what it's like to win. I want these guys to understand that there's a better way of playing this game. And the fact that we do have, families out there watching, like I tell black guys, I can help guys move to the next level if they're willing to put in the work. but you got to show me first. And if your attitude is overshadowing your talent, there's no room for you in my camp.
That's a great strategy, buddy.
Coach.
Very great strategy.
Look, as I've told, as you guys have heard me say 100 times already, and I'll just say it again for the people who are listening to this podcast that haven't been around us. The only way guys in our league are going to get opportunities to go to the next level is if they show that they are good people. There's not a single XFL, USFL, NFL team that is going to allow you to come tarnish their brand by you being a knucklehead. If you can't be a good person and look like a good person on social media and keep the stupidity out of the public, you will never get an opportunity to make one of the bigger squads. And there's going to become a time in the course of the next 2 to 3 years where we're going to be at that level as well. So they're going to be looking for places to play and be potentially still stuck in semi-pro if they want to have gangs, drugs, and all that other shit on the social media. So everybody needs to clean their shit up, be the people that they want to be and not the people that they're stuck being, and stop trying to be cool and be good. Right? So
exactly.
I was going to say, I think that was part of a conversation I had with Coach G or Coach Q was, part of the reason he got into the A7FL, I think he said, was because he wanted to get away from what he called ghetto ball.
Right. That'll do it. Look, I think every person who's played padded football in Las Vegas after high school knows what ghetto ball looks like. We've all experienced it. We've all been stuck in that environment and couldn't wait to get the hell out of it, even when you were winning. Like people showing up to the field drunk, maybe they're talented and good, but as soon as something goes wrong, they get a hot head and now the whole game is ruined. So all that practicing you've been doing all week, all for nothing because somebody got stupid because they were drinking in the parking lot. Like,
or they have their guns on them in the stands or whatnot. And
well, I don't know about any of that. But,
yeah. Hey, Derek.
There's a lot of that happening.
Derek.
Yes, Coach.
Hey, we went to that game 4 weeks ago down to Los Angeles.
Yep.
And the owner of the team came up to me and said, Coach, please talk to your players. We can't have a fight here. I've talked to mine. Every field in this county has been shut down. This is the last one. If the cops have to be called out, because of all the guns that happened here, even last week, we lose all these fields. And Jeremiah can tell you, G can tell you, they've gone down there. They had to postpone games because of, gun fights before and after the games. So they had to forfeit a couple games. And we have to take that out of this, and that's why I chose to step out and step down. I was with a good organization, but it was time for me at my age, especially knowing I've been around this stuff a long time, longer than a lot of players, right?
Well, Coach, that's why you told me you came to A7, right? We flat out don't tolerate any of that in this league. Like
that's exactly right.
Guys may have that in their background, but they know they can't bring that shit to A7 and expect to be a part of this league, like period. Whoever you are off the field, we're trying to get you to understand how to live a better life and be a better person and be a contributing member of society. But on the field, we will demand that, right? We're gonna help you off the field become who you want to be. On the field, if you're not, you won't be on my field. That's just it. Like done it.
Amen.
Done it.
That's it.
Amen.
And that's just a league and a division. That speaks to a league and a division being ran the right way by the right people, by people who know what it takes to be successful in a football league and in a football division. So
well, let's not get it twisted. I wasn't smart enough
to the league and the division as well.
Well, let's not get it twisted. I wasn't smart enough to come up with this shit on my own. I actually learned that from guys like Coach Bartley, like Coach Donnie. I watched them, read guys the riot act in the past, and they ran there.
But that's the point. You've got good heads and good minds around you that have helped you build this thing into being what it is and being as great as it is. So
right. I know a bunch of great team owners, a bunch of great head coaches. It's the very first time I've had the opportunity to spend time with league owners and league organizers at this level. and I happen to be one. So I literally just took all those things I learned from those guys and the things that they used to tell me when I was playing for them, or I heard them telling to their coaches as I'm trying to recruit them to come to our league. Like, yes, that is the platform that we need to be successful. And that is why we can end up on SportsCenter. Like, how many semi-pro games do you see end up on SportsCenter for something positive? Like, it's usually some idiot climbing, right? Some idiot climbing in the stands and, some melee. Like, our clips are great athletic feats or backflips and people having fun and, the stuff that you want your family to come out and see. So we just got to make sure that we as an organization are always continuing to send that message out to our guys so that it permeates with them. It goes into their home. They teach it to their kids teach it to their kids. And we, through football, can convert our community to be looked at in a better light. But I know there's some places, man, you're like, hey, we're bringing a football league. You're like, whoa. No. We don't allow that here.
Exactly.
Right.
Like, yeah.
So we want people to hear A7FL, and they're like, oh, yeah, please. I mean, look, last time you guys were here, all of the people who worked the front desk said everybody was the best they'd ever dealt with. The waitresses all got bigger tips than they ever seen from anybody before. Like, this is beautiful. That's the information I want coming out when we go somewhere.
Yeah.
Right. Absolutely.
All right.
Amen to that.
Jeremiah, we didn't get it. We got off on a tangent before I got to ask you your 7-game fall prediction. We got the Insomniacs at 6-1. The Pit Bosses. We haven't talked about yet. What's that?
He was the second one.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right, Jeremiah. You were 5-2. It was G that we didn't get, right? He had to bounce.
Yeah, G.
All right. So who we didn't get was Bartley, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Coach. Handle it, Coach.
Well, in all my years of football, I have never had a perfect season. Even with all the championships I've won, I've never had a perfect season.
Show them the ring. I know you got it.
Show them the rings.
This is one of them.
There it is.
There it is.
And this is that national championship.
All right, so for the people at home who won't be seeing this on TV, Bartley walks around with his national championship ring on his wedding finger.
Wait, which ones? Those lollipops you buy over there at the 99-cent store?
No, actually, the one that I beat you for in the Super 8.
Oh,
hey, that's okay, but let's talk about who eliminated your
the one you put on.
Hey, wait a minute, hold on. I just had a heart attack when I made you collapse on the field when I went to San Diego to play, and your ass watched me on TV. That's right.
These conversations are oddly specific. Let's get back to it, Coach. What do you
anyways, we do have some news after we can talk just like 3 minutes.
Okay, absolutely. There's more to discuss. I just want to make sure we get these predictions out.
Cool. No, cool.
Yeah, but I am truly gunning for a perfect season. That's my goal. I am gunning for a perfect season.
Well, of course. I think we're all gunning. I think we're all gunning for a perfect season. What's your prediction?
I'm looking to go 7-0. Period. Point blank.
But
anything
is that your prediction or is that your goal?
That is what's expected. I'm going 7-0.
Okay. So now that you said
statement made, he's going 7-0. There we go.
Yeah. And anything less is not accepted.
Anything else would be uncivilized.
Right. And
that's cool. I'll let you go 7-0 and then whoop your ass in playoffs.
That's hilarious.
That ain't gonna happen.
Right? That is.
Remember this. I am the conniving one. I do like to hold shit back, Coach. You know that. It's happened.
I know.
Times. All right.
And you know me very well, too.
You taught me a little. I taught you nothing, so don't worry. I got you.
And you should know me very well. I'm going to flip the script on everybody.
I'm going to get me a chip, guys.
He's going to get him a chip. You hear that?
Yep. I'm going to get me a chip.
Right on. All right. Well, Jeremiah, you feel left out yet? Nice.
No. I'm serious.
Hey, Jeremiah, I'm gonna go to your practice tonight and videotape, okay?
Oh no, I ain't there. I ain't there right now. I got my daughter. She at the.
I'll be there at 8, bro. Don't trip. I got you. I'll be there at 8.
What do you think? Let me know how it goes.
All right. So, Casey, you have any parting questions?
No, not really. I think we've covered quite a bit tonight, and we got some good information out of all these guys. And I will say as well, I've already been in talks with these three, so there's a possible KSC Cox KHLC internet radio broadcast for the Lynx coming to that division and to that league as well. So,
hell yeah.
We've been trying to get Casey to move to Vegas, man, and we're getting close to it, even if we gotta kidnap him.
I can't even understand why he hasn't done it yet, man.
He's
Everything
coming.
that he wants
Don't
to do
worry,
is out
Derek.
here.
He's
Yeah,
coming.
right.
He's coming.
Maybe it's gonna
Yep.
take you and me to get it done.
Well, let me say this, because I got to get going. I got to meet up with one of my fraternity brothers to check on a venue. But I do want to say this, and this is pointed directly to you, Derek.
Yep.
But I want to make sure everybody hears this. The fact that I appreciate you for the man that you are. I appreciate and respect your drive and the passion that you have for this game. Honestly, I wish there was a lot more guys like you who's willing to go the extra mile for this game. You know, you've been a man of your word ever since our first conversation. And like I said, I wish you nothing continued success.
Well, thank you, Coach. Look, I can say the same for you, man. You delivered on everything that you and I have discussed. You put together a fantastic team and a very nice situation. You lucked out with what might be the absolute best team name in all of sports. Let me be honest.
oh
the
yeah,
the Vegas Pit Bosses. That's hard to match, man.
Yeah,
That's some good
yes,
shit.
it
That's
is.
a cool name.
Yes, it is.
But
The Carson City Cannibals, if approved, might compete. But
yeah, that's a damn good one too. But so I just want to say I appreciate everything you do. I appreciate you letting me bend your ear every now and then. I know sometimes we're not on the same page on everything, but what I appreciate most about every guy in this group is when I have something to say, you guys listen, and I try to do the same for you. And then after we have those conversations, we figure shit out together. And that's why we're successful. It's not because one person is going, you need to do that. No, it's how are we doing this together? What's the best route for us to succeed together?
oh yeah,
Yes, sir.
absolutely. And I believe it's that continuity between us right here that is going to not only make us the self-proclaimed second best podcast, but the second best podcast of the A7FL. And believe me when I say I have to be the best at everything I do. So I am gunning for that number one spot.
All right.
I want us to be the best podcast in the A7.
I want to get you there, Casey. This is going to be good.
Yes, sir.
All right, gentlemen. Well,
Absolutely.
we're in an hour and a half, so I'm gonna Casey ask you to shut us down, and I want to say
Well,
thank you.
I got something to say real quick too.
Oh, okay,
I mean,
good.
If it wasn't throughout the years of what I've been through in my life, my family, me being in a hospital, getting sick, dying more than once. I mean, Derek will tell you 4 times. He's been there a couple times.
Yeah,
And if it wasn't Derek for keeping everybody straight and my family straight, I wouldn't be here right now doing what I'm doing. Yes, I get it. I helped him out. I gave a little bit of mentorship towards him, but it's not something that I can say I did enough for him. I wish there was more I could do, but I really appreciate everything Derek Duncan does, because whether you guys know it or not, there's stuff behind the scenes nobody knows about. And the A7 is just another thing, because to tell you the truth, and I'll be a man of my word, is I never looked at football the same ever since Derek brought this league. I was done. I was not doing any more football until I got a pro team under my name. And I was in front of the IFL board to do something. And he brought me back to life with the A7. And I 100% thank you for that, Derek. And let's fucking kick ass and take some names this year, bro.
I love you for it, Coach.
Let the East Coast know, hey, this is Coach D. They call me the one-legged quick release. We're coming for you, East Coast. We're coming for you, East Coast. We're coming, East Coast.
If we had it our way, we
Whoever
wouldn't
it
put
is.
one team in the playoffs. We'd put all 4. We'd put 4
We're
or
coming.
5 in the playoffs if we could.
We're coming.
Yeah.
Hey,
Yeah,
Coach
good
D.
job, Derek. I
It's Coach
appreciate
D.
you myself.
Thank
Yeah.
you, Coach Q. So, Coach D, real quick, the one thing that you can do for me in repayment is just continue to be an amazing dude, an amazing father.
I try. Whether
And
a
take
game, I'm at a wheelchair. I don't care. I'm there.
I know
I'm
it.
sick as hell, and I'm there.
I know it. You take care of your guys like nobody I've ever seen, and it brings me absolute joy to help you in any way I can. So you just keep being
the
you.
food truck is back open.
Right.
Oh,
We
yeah.
got a
really?
truck.
I was gonna
We
say.
got a truck. Yesterday,
I was
my
gonna
wife
say he
got me a
takes.
truck.
I was gonna say
The
he
full
takes
trailer.
more care of more than just his own people. He takes care of anybody who comes out to play A7FL football in Nevada on Sundays.
Hey,
That's
that's
back.
the way.
Even out of
that's,
state.
that's the way we Filipinos are, man. We take care of everybody.
I'll give my last stuff off my back, bro, just to make sure someone else can move forward, bro, and I'll take the heat. It's all good. But gentlemen, just to let you know, another announcement. He Picks is back in operation. My wife bought me a 2002 Dodge Ram 1500.
Oh yeah.
She actually cashed my coins and came out with $1,600 and gave the down payment 3 days ago. And now we have a blue truck in front of my house.
Yeah.
So the
beautiful
Nice.
food truck is going. Let the Elks Lodge know that I will be out there soon. I just need to get the truck lights worked on. And once that's done, I'll be out there every meeting again.
Yeah.
and
Well, let me
taking
know the
care of my
dates.
brothers.
I'll let them know what's up.
Okay,
That's
but
why
other
I'm
than
gonna be
that,
having
I'm
lunch,
sorry
Coach.
I'm sorry for taking up everybody's time, but this is really emotional for me because in all reality, I shouldn't be here, and I'm still here. So there's a reason, and
Yeah,
I
you-
just
you-
the man's work.
Yeah,
Amen,
exactly. You're
Coach.
you're not
Yeah.
done yet.
We're
I'm
gonna be
not.
good, Coach.
I'm
We're gonna
not.
be laughing, Coach. We're gonna have
You know
fun.
what though? It's all good though. But the only thing I gotta say is, Insomniac football, vengeance! I'm coming.
There goes Donnie cutting the wrestling promo.
Oh shit! All right. Well, we still got Jeremiah hanging out. Jeremiah, you're the only person
Yep.
who hasn't said nothing in the last like 10 minutes. What you got? Any parting words for us? I'm sure you don't have an announcement that you're putting together a brand new arena team, right?
No. We still recruiting right now.
Right on, man. Well,
Jeremiah, we're gonna have a good time on the field, Coach. I'm gonna be, remember like I used to coach you. Now, it's gonna be good, right, Coach? It's gonna be fun.
Yeah, well, I'll be the starting quarterback this time, so the outcome will be a little different.
Yeah,
That's what's
that
up.
wasn't my choice. That wasn't my choice. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean,
You know what I mean?
it was all news to me. Mike called me asking about it. I said, I'll play through. I was gonna play with the Snake Eyes, but Mike called me, said he needs some help, so I helped him out.
Yeah,
All right,
Coach
so check-
Derek. Coach Derek, he was gonna play for me. Yeah.
Well, check this out, guys. I know that some of the teams are having not a lot of great success at getting people out to practice, so you're not getting a lot of work. It would be smart to have joint practices until you get into the 4 weeks leading up to the season. So just so everybody can keep getting work and working on stuff, right? So I'm just gonna remind you guys that that's a good thing to do. Share a field, do a joint practice, and make some things happen.
Jeremiah, let's talk on that, Jeremiah. Let's talk on that. I'm down, Jeremiah.
Yeah, we can work something out with it. We can set up a little preseason game or something.
Yeah, let's do that. Let's talk out of this podcast. Let's talk tomorrow.
Yeah, we can do that tomorrow. We can talk about it tomorrow.
Yeah,
Cool,
okay,
cool.
buddy.
Hey,
All right,
involve
Coach.
me in that conversation. You two bring 2 teams, I'll bring my team.
Perfect.
Yeah, we can do that too. We can all line up and get at it.
Yeah, we'll even bring G out there.
I'm sure he'd be interested too.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. See, Coach Derek, I know all these kids, and these kids have faith in me, and they know how I do things. I'm not that drama coach. I don't belittle any of them. I get under their skin. I boost them up, and I try to make them better athletes and men.
Yes.
Jeremiah will tell you. Coach G will tell you. Yeah.
She over there.
And all their players probably, right? Right, Jeremiah?
Yeah. I think most of them know, either played with her or probably know who he is.
Yeah, see? So nobody hates me. I never have a player that's ever
It'll never
walked
be no
away
hate for
from
Coach
me.
Q.
What's that?
So it'll never be no hate for Coach Q.
Yeah. So yeah, man. Okay, Derek. Yeah. I'll see you tomorrow. I'll talk to you tomorrow, Josh. Coach Jeremiah.
All right.
All right. Well, we're still doing a podcast. It's turned into a
Oh,
conversation.
I thought we
Right.
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 All right, gentlemen. Well, let's say goodnight. I appreciate the way this ended. I love the love and camaraderie. I want to say thank you to Coach G, Coach Q, Coach D, Coach Bartley, Coach Jeremiah, and the rest of the coaches who were not on the podcast tonight. I appreciate what you guys are doing, but I want to especially thank the guys who came on here today, taking time out of your busy schedule to spend some time with us so we can promote the league. So, Casey, with that, take us on out, my man.
Yep. Thank you guys for being on the podcast with me. For me, I am Casey Cox. He is Double D Derek Duncan, the division owner of Nevada and Minor Football Hall of Fame inductee. Until next time, we will see you on the other side of the ball.